Hey guys, so ooh, it's been a struggle trying to get on this go live and even get. I already had the notes of what I was gonna talk about today, and like today's title is "Time to Go." Before I go into it, just like whenever God is calling you to do something, everything in you is gonna fight you. Like all of a sudden you get sleepy, stuff wanna just go opposite, and it's just like you have to just stay consistent and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna just keep pushing. And so I have to push myself. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep right now. I was up doing, my spirit, like the ministry, and getting stuff that needs to get done for that. So I just been just working at what I have to do for God, and yeah, it comes with a lot, but it's worth it at the end of the day. So before I go into it, I wanted you guys to hear this song, and I feel like it ties to the message of what I'm going to talk about. So let me go into it right now. Hold on, turn it up. Listen to the words. To my laptop a little closer. Hold on. And this is by, I don't know who this is by. This song. Listen to it. Just listen.
In the presence of the Lord, I've been free, delivered. In your presence, Lord,
It's about this one.
grace and favor. And right now, today, I've been changed.
You gotta play, I want you to hear it. Listen.
I've been changed. And I have waited for this moment to come. And I won't let it pass me by.
Here it goes.
So we say, I won't go back. I can't go back to the
It says, I won't go back, I can't go back to the way it used to be before your presence came to change me. So it says, I won't go back, I can't go back to the way it used to be before your presence came to change me. So that's the part I want you guys to hear. That's a beautiful song, by the way. Okay, so I'm also using my selfie stick because until I need to get my cord set up so I can be able to do my go lives on my actual camera. But so today's message is time to go, and I'm coming from the book of Exodus. I don't know if you guys know the story about Moses, but I'm going to give you guys a rundown on Moses. But if you guys have seen The Prince of Egypt, which was like an old cartoon, you more than likely you probably know about the story. But anyways, I'll give it anyway. So story is the Pharaoh, which is an Egyptian. He's wanting to kill all male boys, males that are descendants of Hebrew. He wants to kill them, and so this one baby, which was Moses, before his name became Moses, his mother, she hid him, and so because she didn't want her baby to get killed, and so she hid him and stuff, and then he ended up, well, before this, the Pharaoh tells the midwives, I want y'all to go kill all the male babies. And then they were just like, no, we ain't about to do that because God already told us and we got to stay obedient to what he says. So no, Pharaoh, it's not going to happen. And so the Pharaoh like, okay, why y'all disobey me? And they just like, we can't go against what God's word is. So the male sons are still getting killed. But this one baby, Moses, his mama, she hid him for 3 months. And then she eventually she couldn't hide him anymore, so she had to pretty much let him go. She couldn't hide him anymore, so she had to let him go. And then so Moses, as she lets him go into a Nile river. He begins to flow into this Nile river. He comes across the Pharaoh's daughter, and it's so amazing because the Pharaoh's daughter is she's tied to the very man who's doing the killing. So it's amazing. But anyways, the Pharaoh daughter, she picks up Moses, and then she takes him in, and so now as Moses is going down the Nile River, his sister is watching him. His sister is watching him from afar, making sure that everything is good and that he's not that nothing, no harm is coming to him. And so she sees that the Pharaoh daughter takes in Moses, and then she tells, and so the sister winds up coming out, and she was like to the Pharaoh's daughter, I know somebody that can help you take care of this baby. And then she was like, amongst one of the Hebrews, women that can come and help you with this baby. And then so come to find out, the woman that she chooses to, she brings on board and she hires is Moses' mama, but the woman does not know that. And it's Moses' mama that is the one that they bring to the home. They begin to pay her to take care of Moses. And then Moses grows up. He grows up after he gets weaned from his mama, of course. I'm just giving you guys a rundown. So if you don't know the story, go read Exodus, but I'm giving you a rundown. So the mother comes into the home. She's getting paid to take care of her baby that they don't know that she's already the mother. And then so she feeds him and stuff, and then he grows. And then after that, she gives him to the Pharaoh's daughter. Then the Pharaoh's daughter she comes in and takes custody of him basically, and begins to raise him. And then Moses grows up, and Moses doesn't know that he's a Hebrew. Moses is thinking that he is like an Egyptian. He's one of the Pharaoh's type of descendants or whatever. And then so what happens is that Moses one day he sees a Hebrew getting beat, and then so he ends up going to attack one of the Egyptians, and then he winds up killing them. And it says he said he buried the Egyptian, and I got so much message from that. But so that happens. So Moses runs off, and then he goes and he goes in hiding. And then so years pass, Moses living his life. He forgot about what he done did. He moved on. And then so then Jesus comes to Moses in a burning bush. And then he tells him, I need you to go back to the very place that you ran from, because I got a mission for you. And then Moses like, God, heck no, I can't do that. And then it's like, okay, I have a stuttering problem. My speech is not too well. And Jesus like, don't you worry about it. I got your back. I'm going to send somebody that's going to help you. His name is Aaron. He's going to be able to help you with, whatever I need you to do. And then so they go there, and then they go to Moses, and they say, Moses, let our people go. But it's still more to it. But I'm just giving you guys a summary. So that's where I'm coming from right now. I hope you guys were able to catch all of that. But like I said, it's really good when you read the word. So go read Exodus, and then you'll see exactly if you need more of a visual to see what's going on. So now my part is where I'm coming in. I'm going to give you the notes on it. Okay. So where am I at? Okay. So now, like I told you guys, so it says that Moses' mama was hiding him for 3 months, right? Remember I told you that? Moses' mom was hiding for 3 months, and then it says that she could no longer hide him. This is in Exodus chapter 2, by the way. It says when she said that she could no longer hide him, she hid him for 3 months, she could no longer hide him. So this is what the Spirit gave me, and it was that which you are hiding no longer can be hidden. God is saying that which you are hiding, it is time for it to come out and serve its purpose. So whatever is in your life, and that you have been hiding behind, it can be relationship, it can be sex, it can be drugs, it can be hurt, it can be pain, it can be frustrations, it can be jealousy, it can be a list. The list goes on. Whatever that which you are hiding behind, God is saying it is now time for you to come from behind it, because I need you to serve you. I need you to serve the purpose that I placed inside of you. And then so what goes on now is that, like I told you guys, it says that she hid him, but she can no longer hide him anymore. So this also had, as I was taking notes, I'm reading it, it was that, you have outgrown. God is saying that place that you are in, you have outgrown it. That place that you are in, you have outgrown it. And if you stay in the familiar of what you know, what's going to happen is that you're only going to abundance yourself from your own blessing. Let me say that again. If you stay in your familiar of what you know, you're only going to abundance yourself from your own blessing. Now, like I told you guys, Moses' mother was hiding him, and she could no longer hide him anymore. So she had to let him go. And when I read them, like any mother, that's painful. But what she had to understand was that, see, she can only give him what he needed at that moment. So there are gonna be things that like that friend or that relationship or that job or that thing may be only able to give you what it can give you for just a certain amount of time. And then when its time is up, its time is up. You see what I'm saying? Like Moses' mother, she came in and she can only feed her son. And then once he was able to get weaned off of her breast and he no longer need the milk, that's when the Pharaoh daughter stepped in. See, there are going to be things that there are things that you're in right now that God is saying you have outgrown it. There may be you have outgrown that friendship. You have outgrown this. You have outgrown that relationship. You have outgrown that addiction. You have outgrown that habit. And that's the very thing that you have outgrown from, you are hiding behind. And the only way you can go forward is if you come from that hiding place. It could be something you did in your life that you have never told somebody, that has been hunting you, something that somebody has done to you that you have never opened your mouth to. There's something that's keeping you in hiding, and God is saying whatever that thing is, it is time to come out. Okay? And so now I want to let you know, guys know that as well, that when you let that which is tied to you go, then will you be able to be let go. When you let that which is tied to you go, then will you be able to be let go. See, if y'all know, that's why I want y'all to go and read the book of Exodus. If you already have and you know what's going on. But see, the Hebrews were in bondage. They were in slavery, and the Egyptians were their slave masters. And so you have to understand, when I'm sure that Moses' mother, she won't let her baby go. I'm sure she won't let her baby go. But the thing about it was that when she let Moses go, it was only preparing them for what God was about to get ready to let go in their lives. See, Moses was going to be the game changer for all of them. He was going to be the one that God chooses to grow up and be the one that comes and lead his people out of the hands of the slave master. And so that's why it started with her. See, once she was able to come from her dark place, that place could have been fear. I don't want to let my baby go. It's going to happen. And it's like when you let something limit you from what God called you to do, you're not reaching your full growth. So when it said when she was hiding him, it says that she can no longer hide him anymore. That means that he began to outgrow that place of hiding. That there's a purpose inside of you that maybe it has that place that it's been barricaded inside, and you haven't. Maybe there's a dream that you have what you wanted to do. Maybe you wanted to do something in your life and you haven't done it because you have you have buried it so deep, and then you're hiding behind and you're thinking that, oh well, I got this. But every time when you see something, it reminds you of of that thing that you don't have. Like, man, I really wanted that. I really wanted to do that. And it's not, and that what I want to let you guys know is that it's not too late. Only way to reach it is that you have to come from hiding. You have to come from that hiding place. And that's because we come from that hiding place, then it's removing who you were to come into who you are. And so that's the same thing what happened with Moses, even though Moses' mama had to let him go, but she had to, in letting him go, it wasn't that God was saying, I'm just gonna take this from you because I'm just punishing you. No. God was taking from her because he was going to give him something greater. You see what I'm saying? So that's why you have to come out of hiding so God can give you what's yours. And so, and I'm going to let you guys know that, okay, so now I got that. Let me go to this. Another thing too is that God is saying, give him that which is heavy, seeming to be heavy and out of control, that you can no longer hide. So he's saying, give me that thing that is seeming to be too heavy for you to carry, or that thing that seems to be out of control in your life. You're like, I'm trying to balance it, but it's driving me crazy, or I can't do this by myself, or you're trying to do it by yourself and you keep finding yourself shorthanded. And that God is saying, give him that thing that is heavy and that is out of control in your life, so he can carry it for you. So he can carry the thing for you. And the only way you can give it to him is if you come from underneath it. So if you can come from underneath those negative thoughts, if you can come from underneath those, that hate, if you come from underneath that jealousy, if you can come from underneath that, wanting to do, place of that thing that's keeping you in that prison of lies. You see what I'm saying? So So God is saying that which is too heavy and out of control in your life, he is saying give it to him. He's saying give it to him. Just like I told you, like Moses' mama, it says that she hid him for 3 months. She hid him for 3 months, and it says she can no longer hide him. God is saying you've been hiding it too long. It can no longer be hidden. It's time to come out. I don't know what that thing that may be in your life that is being hidden. You may know that. And the only way it can come out and release you is if you come from underneath it. Okay? So now let me go to the next one. The next thing, guys, because I'm taking notes. So I said I need to go in the order of my notes. Okay? And so now also, I want to let you guys know that, like I told you, remember I said before that the Pharaoh had told the midwives, he was like, I need y'all to go and, when these Hebrews go and try to give birth to these babies, I need y'all to be in there and I need y'all to go kill them. I need you to go kill them, okay? And then the midwives are like, heck no, it's not gonna happen because we have a purpose to serve and we're not gonna go against God, okay? And so I want to let you guys know this is what the Spirit had given me, is that God is saying, the enemy is trying to kill what God has placed inside of you. The enemy, listen to it. The Pharaoh told the midwives to go. The Pharaoh told the midwives to go and kill every son that is being birthed out of the womb of a Hebrew woman. Go kill every male son that is being birthed out of the Hebrew woman. And so you have to understand, whenever you have purpose inside of you. Have y'all know you guys ever been pregnant with something? Like when a woman is pregnant, before she gives that birth to that baby, she's pregnant. She's carrying that baby. She's feeding that baby. She's getting back what it needs. And all of us we're all pregnant with purpose, men and women. We're all pregnant with purpose, and there's a thing inside of us that God is calling us to birth out. And the only way we can birth it out is if we allow God to pretty much take control of the wheel. You see what I'm saying? That's why I stated that is the enemy trying to kill what God has called you to birth. And you have to also be careful. You have to also be careful of who you allow to pretty much help you birth that purpose. Not everybody is tied to birthing what God placed inside of you. Look at it. If God let's say God had a midwife that was in the room that was opposite of the Hebrews, and they already had hate in them, then do you think they would have saved that baby? No, they would have killed that baby. See, there are people, places, and things that are around you that don't want you to birth out your purpose, and so they will kill it. That's why you cannot let any and everybody birth out what God has placed inside of you. God assigned certain people in that position. He assigned those midwives to help these Hebrew women to birth out these babies. And so what came to me also was that God will place someone in position to help you birth what he needs through you. And they will not go against their position to help you, because the position that God has placed them in, because there's a purpose that must be delivered. I'm going to say that again. God will place someone in position to help you birth what he has called to live. And they will not go against the position God placed them in, because the purpose in you must be delivered. It's just like right now I'm doing right now. God has impregnated in me for me to birth out his word, for me to feed his children, right? I can't not say, oh well, God, I'm not gonna get these. Today I said I was sleepy, I was tired, but I know I need to give a word. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep. Y'all know I have 3 children now that I'm taking care of, and then now I'm trying to still, do what I have to do as far as my ministry and keep everything going and stuff. And so it's a lot sometimes, but I cannot birth what's in me because of because of my opposition. So I cannot get out of position because of my opposition that's around me. I have to still push myself through. And so that's why I said you can't have everybody trying to birth what's inside of you. Like you can't, I remember I was talking to somebody and they was like, yeah, I know this person, they're trying to get their business started. And they was like, yeah, I'm trying to, get this gun and I know this person. But I have to be very careful of that, because you have to understand, you have to ask God, who is that you're placing around me to help birth what is inside of me? Who is the Lord God that you are placing around me to help birth what is inside of me? Because can't anybody birth what God has put in you. Not everybody is tied to your purpose. I can't bring everybody in on board with me on whatever God comes, because everybody's not tied to me. I can't, because it's like you have to understand there are gonna be people that's gonna be there to help you get to where you need to get to. And there are gonna be people who gonna try to come in your life that's gonna try to suck you dry. You have to make sure that, because whenever God places somebody in your life to help you birth a purpose, they're going to help you birth a purpose. They're not going to be intimidated by you. They're not going to be jealous of you. They're going to be like, what can I do to help you get what you need to get done? How can I be a servant to you? And God is going to place servant people in your life that's going to be just that. You're like, God, I want somebody in my life that's not going to be jealous of me, that's not going to be intimidated by me, but it's going to actually help me learn how to take what's inside of me to the next level. And in order for God to do that, I need to be asking God and praying to God for resources and people that are tied to my purpose, to help me birth what's inside of me and to help what birth what's inside of you. And so, that's what I got on that. And so that's why, and so it also says, well, when the midwives, the people who Pharaoh had told to go kill the babies inside the Hebrew women, they obeyed God. And it said that God was God was pleased with them, and that the people multiplied. So you have to understand what's inside of you. When you obey what God has called you to do, it's going to multiply. It can't help but to manifest itself in growth. See, whenever God calls you to do something and you are obedient to that thing, it's only going to manifest itself in growth. And you will know it's manifesting itself in growth, because it'll go from being one thing to being other things. Like you start like I look at it okay, God, I started the thing that I was obedient to was when I gave up sex. That was the thing I gave up. That was the thing I was obedient to. And that one thing, that little one seed, that little one thing I said, God, here you can take this. I gave him that thing, and then after that little one thing I did, everything else began to multiply itself in my life. I begin to see multiplication. You're gonna begin to see a shift in your life, and you're gonna begin to see things multiplying. Like you're gonna be like, dang, how did I get this? And it all started from that one thing. And that's why God wants us to walk in obedience, because our obedience is tied to multiplication of blessings. Multiplication of blessings. And I'm not just saying materialistic stuff. I mean, I'm saying stuff that's gonna be that money can't buy. God's gonna bless you with stuff He's gonna bless you with monetary things, and God's gonna also bless you with things that's gonna be breaking off generational curses. Removing a habit or addiction. Those are God send blessings like that too. Getting that person out of your life, stuff like that. It's gonna be things that money can't buy. You see what I'm saying? So now the next one that I wanted to go to was that. So that was that. So now this is what's going on. So now, like I told you guys, Moses was flowing through the river, right? And so after his mama had released him, because I said, remember she said that she couldn't hide him anymore. She couldn't hide him anymore, so she had to let him go, because she just couldn't do it anymore. And so she let him go, and then he began to flow down the Nile River, and then he came across a woman, which was the Pharaoh's daughter. And she seen him. And so it says that, where is it? It says that the daughter of Pharaoh, she came down to wash herself at the river. What a coincidence. She came down to the same river where Moses was flowing down. The same river. And what came to me is like, because Moses, when whatever the thing that his mama had built for him, she built this thing to hold him as he flows through the river. It was like a little basket. And so whenever she put the basket in the river, and then of course the Pharaoh's daughter, she came across the basket and the baby was in there. And so what came to me was that when purpose comes in contact with God's living water, everything around you can't help but to change. See, Moses was the change. See, when his mama put him, God had already ordained who he was. God has already ordained, and he has already spoken who you are. And the minute God placed him, the minute when purpose come in contact with God's living water, everything around you is going to begin to change. Your appetite, your friends, your hunger, everything is going to begin to change around you. And so when she stepped into the water it says to go wash herself. Now y'all do know her daddy was the one who was saying that he wanted all of the male babies killed, right? So I just got so much revelation from that. And so it's like, okay, so when she stepped into the waters, now Moses was already in the water. Her change was in the water. And so when purpose comes in contact with God's living water, everything around you will begin to change. Now, let me keep going so you guys can get where I'm going with this. Okay, so it says that she began to wash herself in the very, and this is what I wrote. She began to wash herself in the very waters Moses was flowing through. And it stated that she picked him up, she picked him up and everything. And then it says, what came to me was that when she drew Moses out of the water, God was already behind the scene of drawing them in. See, when she drew Moses out of the water, God was already behind the scene of drawing them in. God's already behind the scene of your enemies. You see what I'm saying? God has already seen the Pharaohs. The Pharaohs was an enemy to the Hebrews. The Pharaohs were the ones that were killing and enslaving the Hebrew people. And so when she drew Moses out of the water, when she drew Moses out of the water was God's living water. And when she drew him in, it was only a setup to what God was about to do in them. What God was about to do, he had to first bring Moses in. See, Moses was that setup. And see, there is something in your life that God is behind the scenes on. He's behind the scenes on it. You're not in it. It's not making sense to you. But God is getting ready to position you in the place of your enemies. He's getting ready to position you in the place of your enemies to serve the purpose. Moses was in the hands being held by the very enemies that were killing his people. Like, where they do that at? And so it's like I said, so pretty much your enemies will become a footstool upon your feet. Of course, you guys know that. But like I said at the beginning, guys, is that when it said that the daughter came down to wash herself, look at this. When she came down to wash herself in the waters, God will bring down your enemies so you can rise up to your purpose. God will bring down your enemies. Look, she was coming down to wash herself. God had the very person that was killing his people to stoop, to come down to the waters. This was all a setup. This is all a setup. To come down to the waters and pretty much prepare. What it was doing was it was getting Moses ready for what he was about to enter into. And didn't even know it. So God will bring down your enemies, guys, so that you can rise up to serve your purpose. So whatever enemy, that can be an internal enemy. It could be an external enemy. But God will bring down your enemy just so you can serve, just so you can rise up and serve your purpose. So he will bring them to your level. So you can do what you're called to do. You ever wondered, like, God, I'm in this position and I'm not even qualified. You ever feel like you're not qualified to do something, but you see yourself, but you're still in a position serving it? Like basically like me, I don't have any children, but I'm in a position serving a mothery position right now. And it's like, God, I'm not qualified, but that's where you're called. But God, I'm not qualified, but that's where you're called. God is saying you may feel like you're not qualified, but you have to understand being qualified and being called are two different things. I did a video on that too. Being qualified and being called are two different things. When God calls you, he will put you in the room of your enemies to still serve purpose. And you will be the one that God will have you to shift. God will begin to do a shifting in your enemies. You'll be like, how can these people don't even like me in my job? Like what? God will do a shifting in your enemies. He will reposition the hearts of your enemies just so you can serve your purpose. Okay, guys, and another thing too, I also look at too is that even when Pharaoh was killing the people, I look at it as it was only bringing them from a place. It was bringing them out. See, the enemy is saying that they're killing something, but you're only awakening. You're only awakening. Like when you thought that you were killing me by your words, you think you was killing me by your hate, or you thought you was killing me by not giving me the position, or you thought that you was killing me by not being my friend. You thought you was killing me by doing this or doing that. You thought you was killing me, but only thing that you did was awaken me. You didn't kill me. You was only awakening what was in me. You didn't kill me. You was only awakening what was in me. And so that's why God will have us to see certain things, because it's only awakening things that's in us so we can serve that purpose. Okay. Now let me go down to now. Another thing too is that like I told you guys, when the little girl, Moses' sister was following him as before the basket came across to the Pharaoh's daughter. And then so when she seen Pharaoh's daughter pick up the basket and stuff, and she was like, she came out from the bushes or whatever, and she was like, I know someone that can help you take care of this baby. And then look at this. It says that that when the Pharaoh's daughter picked up the baby, she said, "This is a Hebrew's baby." It said that she said, "This is, look at this. Hold on." It says that she opened it up. She opened up the basket basically, and she saw the child, and behold, the baby began to weep. And she had compassion on him. And then she said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." How does your enemy begin to all of a sudden, go from hating you to now loving you? That's the thing I'm talking about when I said God will begin to reposition your enemies so you can serve your purpose. He'll begin to move that which is in your way so you can come in and so your purpose can serve its way. And so it said that she began to have compassion on him. Now look at this. I want to let you guys know that whenever God calls you into purpose, it's going to always, it says, "Behold, the baby wept." When she picked up Moses wept. The Pharaoh and his people was Moses' purpose. So I want you guys to read Exodus. The Pharaoh and his people was the purpose that God was going to call him to later on in the story. So when it said Moses began to weep, he began to weep or whatever, that was, when you come in contact with your purpose, it's going to make you cry. Because you're not going to, with purpose, you're never going to understand it. You're not going to understand, like, okay, so God, I'm trying to go here, but you called me to go here. And God, I went to school for this, but you have me to do this. Purpose will never make sense in your planning. God's planning and our planning are totally different. And so when you come in contact with purpose will always make you cry because it's uncomfortable. Purpose is uncomfortable and it's painful because you're expecting one thing, but you're receiving something else, and you're writing this whole list of goals, and you're writing this whole thing of I'm gonna do this, and then like it goes total opposite of what you imagine. And so that's why I want to say that purpose will always make you cry. And if you're doing something and it's not making you question like, okay, can I do this? It's like, because God is a God that wants us to need him. See, when we get to a place where we're like, okay, I can do this. I'm good. This ain't nothing. It's like we're basically saying, God, I got this. But when you can be like, God, oh my gosh, I cannot go any further in this by myself. Like I need you, Lord God. I cannot come from this place of hiding without you. Like this is impossible. If you go into, if I can be vulnerable at his feet and letting him know, Lord God, I'm not strong in this area. I can admit that I'm not strong in this area. And then God can be able to come in and do what he needs to do. And so, but that all comes from the place of, once again, coming from that hiding place. Okay? And economics is going to require you to be honest with where you are at. But whenever you are serving purpose should always make you feel like, oh my gosh, okay, I know I can do this. It should have you to get to that place where you have to constantly be in prayer, because it's like you're depending on God to get you through this thing. Another thing too is that so I said contact with purpose will always make you cry. And it says another thing too is that like I was stating, you may say, Lord, okay, Moses was in the atmosphere of his enemies, and it's like he didn't even know his enemies. He was a baby, so he didn't know that Pharaoh was trying to kill his people. He didn't know that until he got older. And so I just want to let you know that you may be seeing like, okay, God, I'm surrounded by internal and external enemies right now, and God is saying, don't you worry, I'm gonna make sure that you eat what you need to grow. Remember, I told you guys that the sister has said, she said, I know of a woman that can help you take care of this baby. Well, the woman that she was talking to was her mother. See, your purpose will always bring you in the room. It will always bring you in the it will always bring you into favor. Your favor always overrides position, and being called overrides position. See, Moses' mom, that was Moses' mom. And the woman said she needed somebody to take care of the baby, because when you have a baby, at those times they were breastfeeding. And the baby couldn't just have any kind of milk. He had to have that milk, because that was the milk of his mother. That was the milk from the womb he came from. See, your purpose can't just have, like I said, your purpose can't just be with anybody. It has to be with certain people, because only they can give you that thing to help you grow. Only Moses' mama can give him the breast milk that he needed to survive. And so when she it said, so they had said, okay, well, basically, can you, since you she was like, you take care of the baby, and most moms take care of the baby, whatever, and they paid her for it. Your purpose will always make room for you. Your purpose will always make room for you. Why is she getting paid to take? Why is she getting paid? I have to ask myself, why is she getting paid to take care of her own baby? And this is the very thing that she thought when she thought she lost. She thought she lost her baby. So that's why you can't be afraid to let go of what's keeping you in hiding, because that very thing, when you let it go, it is holding your blessing. See, when she let her son go, because she said it says she can no longer keep him in hiding. When she let her son go, it says that she let him go, whatever. I would imagine I would be crying letting my baby go. Like, oh my gosh, I just lost my baby. I'm crying right now. But the thing about it was that God said, that which was lost, I will restore. That which was lost to you, I will restore. Look at what God did. He brought her back in. He brought her in the room. He brought her into the palace. How do you go from being a slave and being in the how do you go from being in being in the prison and all of a sudden going to the palace? And so she was in the palace. She was in the palace feeding her baby. God will make whatever you probably saying, God, okay, well, whatever I'm trying to do, I don't see how I can fit in with what I have, or where I may be able to use my purpose. There will always be a position. God will always create a position just for you to serve your purpose. If that position is not there, it will be now. I'm sure that was not a position for a mama who can feed a baby. But God made sure to open that position for her so she can still do what she can need to do to serve her purpose with her son. And so when the time was gonna come, then it's like she had to wean him. So it's like the baby needed certain nutrients before he can go to that next level that God was preparing him for. Okay. And then, like, what came to me, guys, is that God will not place you until he first prepares you. God will not place you until he first prepares you. And think about it. He had to first drink the milk. A baby needs, if you're a person that breastfeeds, that baby needs that breast milk. And so it was a certain milk that Moses needed. There are certain things that you're needing. And God is saying, I will not place you until I first prepare you. I'm going to prepare you for that blessing. I'm going to prepare you for that marriage. I'm going to prepare you for that job. I'm going to prepare you for that, that area that you're struggling with when it comes to forgiveness. I'm going to prepare you. Whenever God places us in something, guys, he always prepares us. He always prepares us. He always prepares. It's never going to be him just throwing us. God, he prepares us for where he's placing us. And I can even, and how I can vouch on that is that I remember before I even got the kids, all of a sudden I had this craving for babies. Me and my husband was just craving babies. I'm like, I think I want a baby. I was just craving. I'm like craving, like everything I go to Walmart, I'm looking at baby clothes, baby this. I'm like, why am I thinking about baby stuff right now? Reason why and I talked to my mom about this, was because God he was shifting me. He was shifting my appetite because he was preparing me for what was about to take place in my life. This was way before I even got my nieces and nephew. I did not know I was gonna be getting these kids, but God was preparing my appetite for. That's why I say God will prepare you before he places you. God was preparing me. I'm watching videos on YouTube about babies. I'm like, God, why am I watching this stuff? Because he's preparing me for where he's about to greatly place me, and that was gonna be me being the need for these children. When my sister-in-law had her children taken away. So I had to, God was getting me ready for that, and I didn't even know it. And he had me ready way up ahead before that even happened, and I didn't even realize it. So whatever that thing in your life is, he's getting you ready. He's preparing you for it before he places you in it. God is preparing for it before he places you in it, guys. So just know that he will not just put you in something without, I did not just get thrown into this. It's like, of course I got thrown into being, I'm not a mom because I don't have my own children. But like I said, I was all of a sudden craving these baby things. I was craving like children and, just freaking watching YouTube videos. It was preparing me for what I was about to get ready to walk into. And God, whatever God's about to get ready to walk you into, guys, it's going to always prepare you. You just have to pay attention to your appetite change. Don't feed the wrong thing to it. You have to feed the right thing to it, and that's what it was. But let me go to the next thing. I'm gonna get off topic, but so the next thing that I was gonna let you guys know was that, okay, so what came to me was that I was wondering how does a child that you did not, this is so crazy because I said, how does a child you did not birth become who you raise? I'm sure that the Pharaoh's daughter did not know she was going to walk outside and come into a baby in her, in where she's taking a bath at. I'm sure she didn't know that. But of course, like I said, God aligns everything to fill the purpose. He positions people. He positions everything to fulfill your purpose. God will position the people just for you to fulfill your purpose. You don't have to worry about, God, how am I going to get this business off the ground? Or how am I going to get this? How am I going to get this started? Right, God, I want to do this. How am I going to do that, Father God? You probably think there probably a dream in you that you wanted, but you're not sure how you're going to get to it. God is going to place you in the room. And when he places you in the room, it's not going to look like what you think. So don't leave it too soon. But just know that God is going to place you in the room. But it's not going to look like what you think. Like, I'm sure Moses didn't know that, this was going to happen to me. But of course, it was all tied to the purpose. It was all part of God's plan. And it couldn't fulfill itself if his mother didn't release him. Remember I told you guys that it says that she was hiding him for 3 months. And then it says that she could no longer hide him. If Moses' mama did not release Moses, then Moses would have never been able to save the people later on in the chapter. You see? So it's like everything was positioning itself to work for Moses. But the enemy will make you think that it's working against you, but in all actuality, it's working for you. It just does not look like what you want it to look like. So you have to come from that hiding place. Yes, okay, God, you know what? I'm going to give you my dream. I'm going to give you, Lord God, I'm going to give you this relationship, Lord God. I'm going to give you this hurt. I'm going to come from hiding, Lord God. I'm going to give you this non-forgiveness. Lord God, I'm going to come from hiding. I'm going to give you this low self-esteem. Lord God, I'm going to come from hiding. I'm going to give you that low drive. I want to go back to school, but I'm scared to. Lord God, I'm going to give you this. And so when you come from hiding, you give it to God. Then that's why I told you guys, God can come in and he can begin to put the people in place to help you to get what you need to what you're needing to serve, or what you need, or what he's wanting you to receive. God is going to place the people. He's going to place the resources. You have to know that. But don't leave it too soon because of what it does not look like. God is not going to say, oh, here you go. No, it's going to look like what you least expect. Like, it's going to look like what you least expect. But when you can serve it like it's all, that's another message I want to do too. When you can serve it like it's already there, when you can serve, okay, God, I'm in school right now, but I keep on failing these classes, but serve it like you already graduated. Serve it like you already got that job. Serve when you can serve, when you say, okay, God, I want to start this business, but all I have is this. When you can serve your business like the building is already there. When you can serve, okay, God, I want to get married, but I haven't even seen a husband. When you can serve and be spiritually married to God, and you serve that husband like he's already there. You have to serve that thing like it's already there, even when you don't see it. You have to serve it like it's already there. You have to serve that forgiveness like it's already there. You have to serve that love like it's already there. You have to, even if you hate that person, you have to serve it like it's like the love for that person is already there. You have to serve it like it's already there. You see what I'm saying? You have to serve it like it's already there, and that's exactly what it is. And so let me go forward now. That hurt. Like I said, that hurt. Cannot forget that person. Serve it like you already forgave them. Serve it like it's already there. That's how you come from hiding, is when you can serve it like it's already there. When Moses' mama let her son go, if she could have thought in her mind, I'm sure she probably was in pain and crying like, oh my gosh, my baby. But if she could have served like, you know what, God is behind the scenes because he's getting ready to do a good thing, do something in our generation. So I'm gonna serve it like God has already freed our generation. I'm gonna serve it like my son has already come into position to take over. I'm gonna serve it like it's already there. That's what God wants. God wants to serve whatever that thing is in our life like it's already there. Okay. Now let me go to, okay, so now this is the part when Moses, now Moses is, like I told you guys, it says that he ran away because, after he had killed, like when Moses had, when Moses had grew up, he was raised up as an Egyptian, okay? But Moses was a Hebrew. Now all of us can relate to that in a way. Somewhere in us, we have had that split identity. I mean, I know I'm this, but I do this. I know I'm this guy, but I still do this. It's like Moses he's a Hebrew, but he still has but it's like I'm living in the house of the rules of an Egyptian. So I had a thinking of an Egyptian, but I know I'm a Hebrew. I know what I am, but what I see is opposite. I know what I feel, but what I see is opposite. I know who I am, but what I see is opposite. But then day, even though Moses was living in the lavish life of an Egyptian in the palace, at the end of the day, he was still a Hebrew, and his people still were prisoned. Even though he was in the palace, he still was a Hebrew. It did not matter. It does not matter. It's kind of like us. It does not matter how much money you get. You still have not forgiven so-and-so. It does not matter how far you go. You still have not let go of your past. How far ahead you go, it doesn't matter how. It's like even though you may have this, but it still does not change what it still has yet to be resolved. What still has yet to be faced. So that's why I said come from hiding. So when it says so Moses, he sees the Hebrew getting beat. And so that to me he was already with there was an internal beating within himself. So when he seen a Hebrew getting beat, that was a part of him inside that he was beating on himself. Like, he was probably in a battle with, he was in a battle within himself. And so it says that he killed the Hebrew and he buried them. And no, he killed the Egyptian and he buried the Egyptian. When I seen that part, he killed that thing and he buried it. He buried. So in order for him to come into who he was, he had to first kill what he was not. He was not an Egyptian. He was a Hebrew. So when he killed that Egyptian, he was coming to who he was. He was killing that thing of who they said he was, who he grew up to be, what he's seen in his life, what he was raised around, the environment, the atmosphere he grown used to. He buried and killed that thing. And so he came into who he was. See, the enemy made him think that he did something. I take it in the sense of the enemy made him think that he did something that was, what would I say? That was, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did this and you're a bad person. And what he was doing in the physical was only showing what he was doing what was taking place in the spiritual. And he was killing that enemy that's been lying to him, telling him who he was not. And so anyway, so Moses runs off. He goes into, the wilderness, you could say. And then he begins to start his new life. He starts his new life. And he thinks that everything is good now. I'm done with that life. I don't want to be a part of it no more. This is the new me. And so, but there was unfinished business. There was unfinished business that he had and that he didn't know. Now, let me go to that part right now. So this is the part right now. So when that happened, and so God comes to him one day. He's walking, his sheep and stuff, just living his life, That life is behind me. I'm looking ahead. That I'm making money. That's us right now. I'm making money. I got this. I'm doing this. I am moved on. But God said, no, sweetheart. No, sweetheart. You have unfinished business that you have to tend to, and I still need you to serve. So yeah. So this is what happens. So Moses goes into the wilderness. He's walking his sheep or whatever, and then he comes across this burning bush, and God begins to speak to him. And then God tells him, I need you to go back to the very place that you left from. The very place Moses ran because Moses left because of what he had killed, and he was afraid that they was going to come after him. And God said, that enemy that you was afraid of is already dead. God is saying that enemy that had you to run the God saying the enemy that has had you to lie about who you are is already dead. That person that was in your life that was downing you, that made you feel less than, that hurt, that betrayal, all that, God is saying that enemy that had you to run is already dead. God said that maybe you want to go to school, but then your fears and your thoughts is telling you, oh, you're not smart enough. Or maybe you want to say, I want to give up sex, but then say, hold on, no, who are you? Why would God take you back in his arms when you already had sex before marriage? Maybe you are a person that has, probably a person that steals or whatever, or a person that maybe you have cheated on your spouse, or whatever that reason may be. And God is saying that which had you is now dead. And I want you to go back. I want you to face it. I want you to run from it no more, because it no longer has its chains on you. But what it's going to do is bring change to you. Let me say that again. That which was an enemy before in your life, God is saying it is now, that which is an enemy that's in your life now, because like I told you guys, Moses ran away because of what he had done. And so he thought they were going to come and kill him. And so it's just like our enemies. There's something in our life that has happened, and it's just like, and it has probably made us feel a certain way about a certain thing, and so we leave it. So we run from it. We run from going to school. We run from we run from changing our lives. We run from forgiving that person. We run, and God is saying that very thing that you ran from, I'm calling you back to, because the very thing that you ran from now, I've killed it. I've killed it, and I want you to face it, because the very thing that had given you a false identity, I want you to now go to that very place and help those that are in need, to help them find their identity. Give you an example. Y'all know I gave up sex. So that was my false identity. The enemy made, okay, that's right, you can't give up sex. Really, girl, you didn't try this thing 2 times before this. You cannot give up sex. Trust me, you've been having sex since 15. It's not going to work. Those are thoughts that's in my head, right? That's the enemy that I'm fighting. Okay, so that's what I'm fighting. So guys and Desiree, that enemy that you ran from the other 2 times and you gave up on it, I want you to go back to it. I want you to go back to it. And I want you to face it, because it's already dead. It's already dead. I just want you to walk in it. It's already dead. I just want you to walk in it, and I want you to give it to me. And so when you walk in, and so that's why I said, so the thing that once had me in chains, chains, is now the very thing that has had me to come into my change, change. The very thing that had me in chains, which is bondage, is the very thing now that has me to come into my change. You see? And so let me read you guys this. It says that after God had spoken to Moses, he returned home, and then God told Moses that the men who wanted to kill him were now dead. And it was safe for him to go back to Egypt. Now y'all know Egypt was a place of his enemy. It says in the word. So just flip it and put it in your life. The very enemy that once had you is now dead. And God is saying, I want you to go back, because it is now safe. See, God already had a ram in the bush for me. When I went, I said, God, I already gave it to you. I already tried to give up sex 2 times, God. 2 times before that, Lamar, we failed at it. So why am I going back to it, God? There's no way I already tried this thing. It's not going to work. It's not in me. It's not in me. God said, Desiree, that thing which once that had you running, I want you to go back to it, because now it's a safe place now. It's a safe place. And I want you to go and do what I called you to do. So let me go into this now, guys. And it says, and Moses began to say these things. He was like, how am I to do this, God? What if they don't believe that I am sent by you? And he said, God, I'm slow of speech. I don't even talk that good. And God says, Moses, listen here. I got you. Okay, I'm just freestyling. God says, I got you. And then so what happens is that the enemy will try to have, like I told you guys, remember I said I was finding reasons why I couldn't go back to do what I did before. And I said, and God is saying, like basically like you will try to find reasons why you can't change, because your fear will try and keep you where your faith is trying to have you to be in bondage. Your fear will try to keep you where your faith is trying to release you. Does it make sense? Your fear will try to keep you in chains where your faith is trying to bring you to change. And so, like I said, whatever that thing, if it's a dream in your life, if it's something that you are wanting and it's like, God, I don't think I can do it. God is saying, it's safe now. Go back to it. Go back to it. Go back to it. It's safe now. Go back to it and fulfill what I called you to fulfill before then. The reason why it probably wasn't working then was because maybe I noticed when it wasn't working for me beforehand, because God's hand wasn't on it. I wasn't trying to do it in here. I was trying to do it in my strength. But now when God told Moses, he said, I'll be with you. Desiree, when I did that, God, Desiree, I'm going to be with you this 3rd time, sweetie. And then I made it a whole year without sex. God is saying, whatever it is, He's gonna be with you. So you're thinking that I can't do this, God. God is saying, I'm gonna be with you. Okay? And so now let me go back to it now. So it says, and then he's nothing too. He said, so when Moses said, God, I'm slow of speech, he's basically saying I can't even talk that good. Well, I mean, what is, I'm not gonna be able to talk, in front of Pharaoh and tell him let your people go. I can't do that, God. And then he was saying that that's okay. I'm gonna send somebody to help you. That goes back to that thing. He said, I'm gonna send Aaron to help you. So I told you, can't no anybody help you serve your purpose. There are going to be certain people that's going to only be able to help you birth what God's placed in you. Ask God, I'm trying to do this right here, God, but I need you to place people around me to help me to birth it. And so when Moses said, God, I cannot do this because, I'm slow of speech. What they don't believe me, he came up with all these reasons. And God is saying, don't you worry about it. I'm going to send help. God saying, don't you worry about it. I'm going to send help. God told Moses he was going to send Aaron with him to go and face the man, to go and face Pharaoh. God is going to send somebody to you to help you face that enemy. If it's fear, if it's hurt, whatever, send somebody to you, send something to you to help you face that internal or external enemy. Okay? And so basically now it goes back to saying that enemy which once tried to kill you is now dead. God is sending you back to take what is yours to have. That enemy which once tried to kill you is dead. God is sending you back to take what is yours to have. Whether it's going back to school, forgiving somebody, being more open to love, having more confidence, not being so big, hard on yourself about what you can't do. I want to let you guys know is that the difference in God sending you back to the place, you're wondering like, why would God send Moses back to the place where he was, where his people was, were in prison and all other stuff? You have to understand that the difference in God sending you back is to release you from the chains. But the difference with you going back, like on your own strength, is you running from change. So you running back. That's the difference between you running back, because you're like, okay, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And then God is saying, I want you to go back, because whenever God sends you, I told you what God tells us to do is gonna be unexplainable, and you ain't gonna understand it. Like, what the world? But like I said, when he sent Moses back, it was because Moses, he needed him to release himself from those chains, so he could walk into his change, because the change that the people needed was tied to Moses. And guys, there's something. That's why we can't sleep on our dreams. We can't sleep on that thing inside of us, because there is somebody that's in need of what you have. That's why you can't go into this thing worried about, oh, I can make more money. You got to ask God, how can what I'm doing, Lord God, help somebody else? Help somebody else, because whatever God places you to or places in you, it's going to always be to help somebody else. It's never, even with me, like God placed in me, I love to give an encouraging word. I love to be an encouragement to somebody. But at the same time, it's not just to benefit me getting views or me getting likes. It's to grow that thing. It's to grow in that thing in me that God is calling to birth. That's why I said you cannot have anybody helping you to serve purpose, because not everybody is tied to it. And so when you have the right people around you, you're gonna see that thing in you manifesting itself. It's gonna manifest itself, and you're gonna see, because you're gonna see the product of what you planted. You're gonna begin to see the product of what you planted. And whatever God calls you to something, it will never take you far from Him. It will always bring you close to Him. So if you're doing something that's taking you further from God, you're like, since I have been doing this, it's been taking me further from God. You've been giving more time to it than more time to God. You have to know that you have to say, God, is this from you? Because whenever God calls you to something, it's going to always be to draw you closer to Him. It's never going to be to draw you from Him. It's going to always be to draw you to Him. So if you're going to a job that you're looking at, okay, I can make more money, and you didn't ask God, this is the job you called me to, and it's like you're only going to be serving self. You're not going to be serving the purpose. So whenever God calls you to a place, you have to know that it's going to always be for a purpose, even when it does not make sense, guys. So like I had stated, was that after, God is going to always position you to serve the purpose. He's going to always place people around you to help you fulfill it. So you don't have to like fret yourself on like, how am I going to get this done? I don't have the money. Okay, I'm trying to do this, but I don't know how this is going to work. It's like, don't worry about that. All you gotta do is stay faithful to God. Cause like when you put, like I told you, when Moses' mama, when she came, it said that she hid him for 3 months. She hid him for 3 months, guys. It said she hid him for 3 months. And then after 3 months, it said that she couldn't hide him anymore, right? And so she had to come from hiding. She had to let him go. And so, hold on, let me take this off this thing because, hold on. And so she had to let him go. And so like I was saying in the beginning, when you can let go that which you are hiding from, God is going to give you favor. He's going to give you favor in that thing because you're going to trust. You're going to be faith, because that's what faith is. Faith is stepping out even when you don't see it. Faith is stepping out even when you don't see it. And so when like Moses' mama, she stepped out and she let her son go. She her son could have got ate up by crocodiles and could have been anything could have happened in that river, but she did what she had to do. And that's what it was. It's like when you can let go and you can just come from that hiding place, whatever that hiding place is, when you come from that hiding place, and it's going to position you for favor. It's going to position you in favor. Look what happened. Remember I told you Moses' mom let him go, right? Then all of a sudden what wound up happening? The Pharaoh said, I need somebody to help feed this baby. The Pharaoh's daughter said, I need somebody to help feed this baby. God's gonna always create a position. You may say, okay, God, how can what I want to do even help somebody, or how can I even get it started, or what good is what I have, Lord God? And I want to let you guys notice that if there is not a position for it, God will create it. God will create a position just for you to serve your purpose, and God will place you in the room of your enemies, and the very people that He places you in the room with are gonna be the very ones that help you to get there. And it's gonna be they're not even gonna know it. Think about it. I remember like I said, God, help me to stop cursing, okay? And so I didn't realize I was cursing a lot until one day this person had made me mad, and then I was I'm good now, but this is before then. And so I'm like, okay, I just went off and complete all curse words. And this is a person that I saw as an enemy. But what that enemy helped me to do was it helped me to see where I was not at. So you have to, you can't just, like, once again, you can't just see your enemy as an enemy. You have to see, how can this enemy help to bring me to a place? And so when I seen when I saw myself, going off on this person, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a filthy mouth, like I curse a lot. And so, but I couldn't become self-aware. I could not have had a self-awareness of it if the enemy did not provoke me, to that. It's like if I wasn't provoked, it's like it awakened something in me that I did not know was there. So I had to come from that place of hiding. I was hiding from, it's like I knew I cursed, but I didn't know that it was that bad. I didn't know I was that, I didn't know I was that vulgar with it. And so it was like I had to, when a person had me to come out of that, most of the people had me to come out of that place, that character, that is not of me. And I had did that, and it was like, I had to step out. I'm like, oh my gosh. So you have to thank thank you for having me to see me. Thank you for having me to come to a new me. Thank you for, Pharaoh, thank you for imprisoning my people, because you only positioned my son Moses to free all of his people. Thank you. You have to, thank the things that even seem to be against you. Thank you, supervisor, who always trying to, have an issue with me on everything that I do. Thank you, supervisor, because you know what? You only gonna make me a stronger and better person in the area when it comes to my attitude. Thank you, person who I was at a place of hate and I could not forgive you, because you know what? It has now, I've come out from hiding, and it has now helped me to learn how to forgive. And that's when I say it's time to go. It's time to go. I mean, it's time to go from that place. It's time to go from that place that's keeping you in hiding. so you can serve the purpose. Because if you're in hiding, like I said, if Moses' mama kept Moses in hiding because of her darkness, and let's say her darkness was fear, then Moses could not come into his light of change. And his change was tied to people. And it was the people needed him. That's why God wants us to abide in him, because we are tied to each other. There are people that are tied to you. So you have to know that what you doing, that is going to help somebody else. That's why you have to say, God, what I'm doing right now, is it of you? Because if you're doing something that's not of God, then it can't tie to somebody. It can't. I mean, if you're doing something that's like, I can't be promoting like if it's a younger, like my niece is 12 years old and I'm promoting, like let's say I'm promoting and saying, okay, yeah, go have sex. I can't promote that. I can't. That's not. I have to promote. You wait for sex before marriage. You see, and it's like I have to let my niece know that. And so you have to ask God, what I am doing, is it going to add to helping somebody else? Or is it only going to keep me receiving, being selfish, and not changing and not growing? You want to be changed. You don't want to stay in the chains. Remember, chains, you don't want to stay in the chains, chains. You want to be changed, change. So you want to stay in that. The only way you can stay in change is to come out from hiding. And when you come out from hiding, you are breaking the change that's on you. The chains is like Tasha Cobbs. Break every chain. Break the chains of doubt. Break the chains of anger. Break the chains of manipulation. Break the chains of anger. Break the chains of whatever you fill in the blank. Break the chains of whatever that is in your life, and you ask God to break it from you. And that's what it is. So guys, I want to just give you guys that message and make sure I gave you guys everything that is needed. Okay, another thing too, guys. Remember I told you when Moses' mama had released him into the Nile River, and his sister was in the bushes, like following him as he was going down the river, making sure that nothing happened to him. I took that as being God. Like whenever you finna release something and you're like, God, I'm scared. Oh my God, I don't know what's gonna happen. You just know that God is on the sideline being your cheerleader. Cause I took that little girl been in the bushes. She's been in the bushes and she's following her brother through the bushes as he goes down the Nile River. I took that as God as being a cheerleader whenever you let that thing go. Remember, it says that Moses' mother can no longer hide him. She's been hiding for 3 months and said she can no longer hide him. So when she let him go in the Nile River, and his sister was watching over him. And so whenever you let that thing go, just know that you're not going to be in it by yourself. That God is on the sideline and he's watching you go. And he's your sideline cheerleader, cheering you on, letting you know that you can do this. I know it may not make sense, and know that what you are releasing, you feel like you're losing, it's gonna be restored. What you are releasing, you feel like you are losing, you have to know it's going to be restored. God's going to give you everything that you have lost. So it's not that you're losing it. It's that, because you can't lose something you never had. So I'm saying you can't lose something that you were never supposed to have. So how can I say, God, okay, well, I'm finna lose love, and I'm finna lose if I give sex, or I'm finna lose my boyfriend if I give up sex. How can I lose these things when I never had to begin with? I never had these things to begin with because God was never in it. So it's like God said, like it's not that you're losing, sweetheart. I'm gonna give you everything that you lost, meaning everything that you lost when you were not in me. I'm going to give that back to you. Now, I'm not, that's what God's saying. It's not like you can't, it's not that you're losing, guys. It's that whatever you're doing that's not in God, you're not losing when you let it go. You're not losing. You're actually winning. What God is saying, what you lost was the things that you were not what you were not in tune to when you were not in him. See, there are things that God has called you to that you have yet to come into. You have yet to do. There's something that God placed over your life that you have not done. There's something that God has told you to do and you have not done it. Maybe it's going back. Like I don't know why I keep telling this school thing. I don't know if God tell somebody to go back to school. I don't know what's going on. But whatever it is, or maybe God tell you to leave that abusive. Maybe you're in a relationship, somebody is beating you. Whatever that thing is, God, that's not, you're not, if you let that go, If you let that, like you let fear go, the fear, okay, of I'm scared if I don't, finish school, whatever. And he like, okay, and you let that man go. I'm afraid if I let him go, even though he's beating me, but if I let him go, I'm not going to have anybody else to love me. And so it's like, you're not losing because those are things that are not even, those are negative things. Whatever God is bringing you to is going to always be to flourish you. And yes, your enemies do flourish you, but don't look at it as when I let this thing go, I'm losing. No, you lost when you were not doing the things that were in God. That's what you were losing the things that God is calling you to. You're losing time. You're losing, there's things that God has said that I want you to do. There's something there, like when Moses' mama was in there breastfeeding her son, there are going to be positions that only you can fulfill. That only your purpose can serve. Nobody else. There's something that only you can do. That only you can do that God has given you to serve. And nobody else can do it. But if you let it die, with you, then it's like you wasting time. So there's something inside of just you that only God has given you. So you don't have to try to compete with nobody. That thing that is inside of you is yours. It's just like a fingerprint. We all have different fingerprints, and nobody can take that thing that's in you. The only person that can take it from you is yourself. Only thing that can take it from you is that inner enemy. Nobody can take it from you. Only person that can take it from what God has placed in you guys is yourself. But I'm gonna let you guys. Let me make sure I did everything. All my notes. Oh yeah, another thing too. I know I was forgetting something. Okay, is that another thing too, guys? Is that God will interrupt that thing which you are hiding in. God will interrupt that thing that which you are hiding in. Okay, He will interrupt it. So let's say you've been doing something your way for the longest. God is gonna come in. He's gonna bring a disruption. He's gonna begin. It's gonna begin. Have you ever found yourself to where you like all this chaos? Like it's just like everything is just chaotic in my life right now. Like dang, like everything is something. It just seems so crazy. God will interrupt. God will interrupt what is not in order to bring order. So God will interrupt disorder to bring order in your life. And that whatever that thing that He is trying to call you to. So God will interrupt what is not in order to bring order. And that's gonna go from when you, like I said, when you come from hiding, you have to be ready. When you do come out and hide, come from hiding, whatever that thing is, you give to God. You have to be ready for the what's gonna come with it. You have to know that it's not gonna come in its familiar thing. It's not gonna come in a thing. It's not gonna come in a way to where it's gonna be comfortable or it's gonna look like, oh, okay, I can do it. It's gonna come into like, okay, you know what? I'm not doing this. This is too much. This is not worth it. But I want to tell you guys, don't give up. Don't give up, because it's like you have to know you are serving a purpose, and what you're doing is gonna be helping somebody else. So don't give up. And you have to understand it's also like like what I'm doing right now. I know right now, even though I'm not a mother, but God has called me to a position like of a mother, I know that it may not make sense to me right now. God, you gave me children before I was even able to have my own children. But in the day, God knows what's inside of us. God knows what's inside of us even before we know what's inside of us. But we have to come in tune to Him to know that. So guys, I'm just let you know that come from hiding. It's time to let whatever that is go. Come from hiding and come into your purpose. Don't let another thing too, that's all I was gonna say. I forgot one more thing. Is that when Moses' mom came in and she, they asked her, can you, take care of this baby and feed him and stuff. There are gonna be things that people are gonna only be able to feed you for a limited time, okay? And then after that, it's gonna require another type of feeding. So you can't. There are gonna be people that God placed in your life that's gonna be seasonal, and people that God placed in your life that's gonna be, past that season. And so you have to know the difference. You don't get stuck with seasonal people. Then when God is calling them to just serve what they supposed to serve in that season. If they were just supposed to serve you, pulling up their courage to go back to school. If they serving you, pulling up their courage to let go of sex or whatever, pulling up their courage to remove yourself from that abusive relationship, whatever, whether it's physical or verbal, whatever that is, God will place it in your life that's seasonal. So you have to be careful not to make them permanent. And so when Moses' mother was feeding Moses, when it says that she was hiding him and that she can no longer hide him, there are things that people can only give you that pretty much she could not give him what the Pharaoh, what the Egyptians had. Like, she could not give him that which God called Moses to that environment for a reason. She couldn't give him that. So God had to send somebody that could. And there's going to be things, I said, there are going to be people, there's going to be a purpose in you, and only certain people can help you fulfill it. And you have to know there's going to be those that are going to be seasonal that's going to help you fulfill it. And God's going to begin transitioning you to somebody else that's going to help you fulfill it. Maybe that person supposed to help you fulfill this right here. And this other person going to help you fulfill this part. And then the other person going to come in and help you fulfill that part. So don't expect, let's say there's a person of A, B, and C. And then you expect, let's say that the A person was only supposed to do, let's say, picking up the trash. I'm just giving you guys an example. B person was to vacuum the floor. C person was to wash the windows. You can't expect, if A person is just supposed to pick up the trash, you cannot expect A person to pick up the trash, vacuum the floor, and wash the windows. No. There are gonna be things that God is gonna have only certain people that can give you these things. That person that you can't expect, okay, I'm gonna receive everything in this place, or everything in this person, or everything in this thing. No, it's gonna come in different stages of receiving. Okay, just like Moses' mama, she can only give him the milk. But now, what happens after? Just like a baby, when the baby gets done breastfeeding, they get done drinking milk. What happens then? They go from drinking milk to doing what? Eating solid foods. So there gonna be people in your life that's gonna be just there to give you the milk. Then somebody's gonna be there to give you the solid foods, and then so on and so on. And you have to be open to that. Be open to that change. You have to be open to letting people in, people that God sent in, so they can help you fulfill that which God placed in you. Because you don't want to stay with just expecting person to just do everything that you're expecting to have or need, or you have to. What it's gonna do is, like, if Moses' mom did not release him because of her fear of what might happen to him, and she wanted to just keep her baby in hiding, then she would have only limited his growth. And so you don't want somebody to come into your life that is not tied to the season of your purpose, and then you begin to your growth begins to get limited because they're not able to give you what you need in the season that God has you. If God has you in a season of you're supposed to eat apples this season, this person has oranges, they can't give you apples. And if God calls you to the next season and then you have grapes now, and then and then they want to give you plums, they can't give you grapes because they are plum. They have plums. So God is going to give you based on the season that you are in. And on the season that you're in, He's going to place the people around you to serve you, to help serve you in that season. And they're only going to be able to serve that thing that you are needing in that season. As I said, there are seasonal people and there are people that God calls for a longer term. So I just want to let you guys know that. Just be sure to surround yourself around people, places, and things that are God sent. And if you don't know if it's God sent, ask God, is this you? And don't be anxious in it. Another thing too, don't ever be anxious in anything. God says don't be anxious for anything, but pray about everything. Because when you be anxious, you rush into things, and you rush into something, you go into something ahead of its time. You can't, like I told you guys before, you can't receive a blessing before it's time, because if you do, then you're going to be destroyed. Because if God said, I want you to receive this in June, but you got impatient and you tried to get it in May, then it's going to destroy you, because it's like you're receiving something that God did not call you to in that season. God is calling you, to receive it based on time He wants to release it to you. And you have to be very careful of that, because the enemy, he also brings things around. He also will bring a person around. Like I remember I was asking God for something, and all of a sudden this person came around, was like telling me that they can, I do this, I do that. And I was just like, oh my God, okay, it's about to jump off. And then it was just something, I'm like, you know what? Something told me I need to pray. And then it was just like too many signs wound up coming out. And it was like this person was not tied to the purpose that God had in me. And so you have to be very careful of that. Like, the enemy will send people too. You have to know the difference. And only you can know the difference of who God sends and who the devil sends. And you have to ask God, give me spiritual discernment to know the difference. Because God will, like I said, whenever God sends you something, it will never take you from Him. It will always bring you to Him. And if it's something that's going to take you from Him, it's not Him. And so that person was trying to take me from God. And it's like, no, it's like I'm not gonna have to lessen my morals, do shortcuts to receive it, go steal, go rob, go and like, pay to have it, sell myself to receive it. I'm not gonna have to do any of that. Whatever God has for you in your life, it's gonna always come it's gonna always come in alignment. It's going to always come in alignment. It's going to always come in order. It's never going to come BA. It's going to always come in order the way that he wants it based on the season that he has you in. So guys, just be very mindful of that when, if you're at this place in your life to where you're anxious for this dream to pop off or this business or whatever it is that you've been hiding. You know what? I'm ready to come from hiding. I'm wanting to walk into this thing. Just ask God, to give you spiritual discernment on that. Now, I'm saying spiritual discernment on the sense of if you're trying to go into a business or if you're trying to get to a house or whatever, like making major decisions. Don't be anxious to jump into that. Make sure that you have prayed to God that he has sent the right people to give you what you need, because there can be some leeches out there that's ready to suck you dry. They'll suck you dry from what God has put inside of you, because they know the enemy knew that you were anxious to have it. So they know what, let me suck you dry right now. Let me put the false thing in front of you. The false thing will always come before the real thing. You have to know the difference. It's just like if you're real hungry for a significant other, or you're hungry for a husband, or you're hungry for whatever that thing is, you have to know that there's going to be a false thing that's going to come before the real thing. And if you're not in tune to God's spirit, you're going to get deceived. And you have to ask God, is this of you? And God is, even in his word, he said, I will send you confirmation. He will send witnesses to confirm what he has said that is yours to have. If God's saying this is what I want you to have this season, I'm gonna send witnesses to confirm that to you. And you're gonna know it's me, because you're gonna know it's God, because you're gonna be in tune to him. And in the signs, it's gonna make sense. You see, it's gonna make sense to you guys, but I can't explain it. But it's just it all comes with being in a relationship with God. You have to begin building a relationship to God to know the difference, And I know the difference when somebody is trying to pull the wool over my eyes and trying to get over on me. I don't jump into, even if I'm anxious to have, I have to be like, nope, Desiree, hold on, guys, is this of you? I know I said I want this guy, but I didn't make sure this is you, because I'm not gonna tie my purpose to this person and they're not supposed to be here. I'm not going to tie my purpose to this job, and I'm not supposed to be here. I know they paying a lot of money, but God, is this job from you? I know, like I said, the enemy is there to deceive you, because he wants to keep you from where. I remember I told you guys that Pharaoh said, I want you to kill all the male babies. See, the enemy is trying to go in. He's trying to kill purposes. And if I can keep you from serving your purpose just by giving you an illusion of what you think is yours, making you think that it's the real thing, I got you. I got you. But I just want to let you guys know that when you come from that hiding place, just ask God to be with you, to guide you. And like I told you, when God told Moses to go back to the very place that he was running from, God said, I will be with you. I will be with you. So whatever that place is that you're running from, just know that God is saying, I will be with you. And just make sure that you are not taking the steps because of flesh, but you are taking the steps because of spirit. And you know that, what, God, I know that this is, you're calling me to do this. There's something that in all of our life that we know that God has put inside of us. It's there. There's put that thing inside of you. And you have been sleeping on it. God is saying it is time for it to awaken. Do not let time pass you by. Do not let somebody take what's yours. Because you didn't want, because your fear got in the way of you serving it. Don't let somebody take what's yours because you let your fear get in the way of you serving it. Go serve your purpose. Ask God to top the people around you to help you to help you serve the purpose and to bring you to the resources to get that business off the ground, to get that dream going, to get that, let's say, Lord God, reignite that fire in me, get me burning again for that passion I used to have. You're a person that you gotta continue to craft you gotta continue to craft your work. And you want to, all to get better, you got to keep on doing it every day. As I do these videos, I'm only crafting my work. I'm only doing this every day because when God calls me into a larger place or a larger territory, I've already had this practice, I already had this experience, and I've already been preparing myself for where God's walking me into. So that our purpose will always, will walk us into what God has for us. So you guys have a blessed day. May God continue to lead and keep you guys. And do not allow the enemy to rob you of what's yours to have. Come from hiding. And it's time to go. It is time to go. The time is yours. The ball is in your court. Either you're going to take it or you're going to let somebody else steal it. All right? Peace. May God keep you.